I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
allowed.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
allowed.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
Mr. Trump is lying, as usual. The actual number is around 114 billion. See the source in the description. Meanwhile, the European Union has contributed even more, about 132 billion. So Europe's support is significantly larger than America's. This money wasn't handed to Ukraine in cash. The Europeans did that. The EU is directly paying Ukrainian salaries for teachers, doctors, police officers and other essential workers. Ukraine can't afford these costs anymore, so Europe stepped in. US aid is mostly old military equipment. This isn't cutting-edge weaponry, it's second-hand gear, leftovers from the past wars. Rusty tanks that once spread democracy in Afghanistan and Iraq, now dumped on the Ukrainian front. Junk the US no longer needs. That means the so-called 114 billion, not 350, Mr. Trump, in aid isn't reality aid at all. It's a 100 billion investment in US jobs and the American economy, all while Ukraine foots the bill. It's like selling a 20-year-old Ford worth of 500, slapping a 20,000 price tag on it, calling it a fair deal, then handing the money to Ford and saying, "We helped Ukraine." And Trump, he wants to take it even further. He says that for this 114 billion the US gave to Ukraine, money that's already sitting in the accounts of General Motors and Lockheed Martin, Ukraine should pay another 500 billion in that rare metals deal he was pushing in front of Zelensky. That's not help. That's gangster economics. Are you feeling grateful enough, Mr. Zelensky? Now let's talk about broken promises. In 1994, the US and Russia signed a treaty with Ukraine. Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons in exchange for a guarantee. Both the US and Russia signed to protect its security. Well, that promise was completely ignored. Now Ukraine is forced to buy overpriced second-hand weapons from the very people who swore to defend it. And in the end, those same people will divide Ukraine between them. Russia will take 1/5, they weren't even capable of conquering more, and Trump and his business buddies will take the rest. One more thing. After 9/11, over 90 countries, almost 100 countries, provided assistance to America, and not a single one demanded payment or US natural resources in return. How was that, Mr. Pitt?
My friend Jefferson's an American saint because he wrote the words, "All men are created equal." Words he clearly didn't believe since he allowed his own children to live in slavery. He was a rich wine snob who was sick of paying taxes to the Brits. So yeah, he wrote some lovely words and aroused the rabble, and they went out and died for those words, while he sat back and drank his wine and fucked his slave girl. This guy wants to tell me we're living in a community? Don't make me laugh. I'm living in America, and in America you're on your own. America's not a country. It's just a business. Now fucking pay me.